All right, we're here with the head coach of the Union Grove Lions, Coach Kyle Adams. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely, absolutely. So you're coming over from Ore City. Let's talk a little bit about last season and how you ended up at Union Grove.
Yeah, so I took over at Ore City last year, about March. Was at White Oak before that. I had a great opportunity to take over the Rebel program. Um, had a great group of kids, bought into what we were doing, uh, made the playoffs there last season, and yeah, really just enjoyed my time there at Ore City. A little bit about my background. I've spent 9 years of my 16-year career here at Union Grove prior to all of that. So the opportunity came. My family, my wife works down at the elementary, and my kids go to school at Union Grove. So it almost kind of fell into place, to be honest with you. And so just thrilled to be back at a community that I just spent a lot of time in. My dad was the head coach here for a long time and coached under him. And it's nice being back in some familiar territory, being around some people that it's almost like almost felt like I never left. And so it's nice having that familiarity. And so excited to take over this program. And the kids have been nothing but great. So super excited.
Well, let's talk about maybe what have you seen? Have you watched any film from last season, or what have you seen from the team in the off season to get you ready for this year?
So, Grove was in our, when I was at Ord City, Grove was in our district. So I know exactly the caliber of kid that we have. These kids have done nothing shy of exactly what we've asked them to do. And so that's the kind of kid that is the Union Grove kid. Show up to practice every day, great attitudes, fun to be around. I mean, it makes our job as coaches a lot easier with the type of kid that we have here at the Grove, and putting in a new offense and a new defense, reworking off season, the weight room. I mean, it's a sometimes it's change is hard, change is never fun, but oftentimes change is needed, and so that's kind of how we have approached this. And the kids have been, again, kids are pretty resilient, and they've adapted and they've bought in, and so I'm really excited for this season for this football team. We've got a ton of seniors, a ton of experience on the field, and so yeah, I really think that we could, again, I know being in the district, I know that we're kind of backed into a corner a little bit. But I think that we have the tools in place to maybe make some ripples in this district, and so um, just really excited to finally get to those Friday night games and put it all out there.
Well, we're almost there. We just got about a week left, so we're
That's
almost
right.
there to where we
Yeah.
can start those playing the games that mean something.
Right.
You said you coached under your dad. How much do you take from maybe his coaching style that bleeds into how you coach, or are y'all completely different?
So that's a good question. He's on my staff with me here, so the roles have kind of reversed, and he was with me at Ore City. And anyway, it's a unique, awesome experience. And so I kind of think that I'm kind of a hybrid of what my dad was. I would, if I had to classify my dad, he's kind of old school. He's a very old school mentality, and not to say that that's not a bad thing or a good thing. I do think that our profession has kind of changed a little bit over the years, and I think I'm a good hybrid of a old school and a new era type coach. What I remember most, because again, I was a coach's kid too, so I kind of grew up in this profession. So what I remember most about my time with my dad when he was at Hallsville, that's where I went to school and graduated from. His staffs were so, I mean, they just gelled so well. And part of our business is putting the right people in place, just like any other business. And he did such a good job of that, and that's something that I'm trying to emulate. And I think that we have a great group of coaches here that genuinely enjoy being around each other and have each other's backs. And it's often an overlooked thing, but it makes such a big difference. And so that's my biggest takeaway from him is just putting those people in place that you trust, that you know that they're going to have your back and you got their back. So, but it's definitely an advantage to have someone like that on your staff, a wealth of knowledge, somebody that you can lean on when you need it. And so, super just thrilled to have him. And my sister's also a coach, and I have her on our volleyball staff and track staff. And so, this is the first time we've all been together, all three of us in one place. So it's going to be a very memorable, exciting year in sports for us.
Well, and that's awesome. It's kind of like a full circle moment. You
For
were
sure.
coaching under your dad, now your dad's coaching under you. That's
Right.
awesome. Well,
Yeah.
you are familiar with this district, and it hasn't changed too much. You added in Wascom and Allegiant Fields into the
Right.
district, but what are your overall thoughts on the whole, the district as a whole?
I think that we have a ton of talent in this district. We lost Frankston. Frankston's going to be really good. You pick up Wascom NEF, and Wascom NEF are going to be really good. We've got an 8-team district. It's a tough task for anybody when you have 8 teams in a district and only 4 get to go to the playoffs. So, a lot of great coaches in this district, very experienced, very knowledgeable. And so I think that that's exactly what we're going to have to bring our A game every week. And I think we can be competitive. I do. I think we can be competitive. But we may have to make sure that as coaches, we do our due diligence to get these kids prepared, because our district, you can't just roll into a game and expect to just win. So that's the main thing, is getting these kids prepared. And I think that we got the people in place to do that. And so it's going to be a tough district, without a doubt, without a doubt.
Yeah, the 8 teams is, you got 7 district games and just a couple 3 non-district games to get
Correct.
ready for that. So that's
Exactly.
tough.
It is.
Well, last thing I want to ask you before I let you get out of here is, what are your expectations? This being your first year at Union Grove as the head coach, what are your expectations, and what do you hope to see from the team this year?
Like I said, I hope we can be competitive. I know we can be competitive. We can make ripples in this district. I think we can make an impact. We can. My biggest thing is that we stay healthy. Healthy. You're going to talk to other coaches, and they're going to say the same thing. Depth at this level is hard, is tough, and so obviously that's going to play a big role in our success. And in this senior leadership, again, we have a ton of that, and we're going to have to rely on these seniors to step up. And some of these kids have been playing since they were sophomores. So, again, just preparing the kids, getting them prepared, and showing up ready to play and expect to win.
All right, Coach. Well, thank you so much for taking the time and talking to us this morning. Best of luck to the Lions this year, and we will talk to you down the road.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
All right, thanks, Coach.